Greetings, Jesus Christ. Greetings, Yankee Nation. I'm Ken, and you're here with the ugly truth. Feeling a little bit better than yesterday. We're going to do the pre-series review with the Yankees and the Giants. They start their set this evening, and hoping for a bounce back series. Last series with the Tigers was a bit rough, and we ended up losing the series overall, and we're 1-2. We ended up taking the rubber match of the series with a fantastic performance from Max Fried, pitching 7 innings, getting 7 strikeouts, and having the first quality start for the Yankees this season. So all pluses. Hopefully, we're on an upward trend. This week in the Bronx, we face the Giants in our house, and it's not going to be an easy series. Those guys are playing some really, really good ball. That are doing extremely well in the NL West. Right now, I see one person in our stream. Don't know if anybody's watched or observing in the background, but I want to give a shout out to CT Cards. Always a loyal fan of the channel and has supported us from day one. Most appreciated, brother. As usual, I am going to have an open panel. So if you choose or feel like coming up, that avenue is available for you, and I like to give people the opportunity to speak their truth. So it is there for you if you choose to use it. If not, then I will keep going. Hey Dev, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Just starting. The pollen count is down a bit because it's been raining, so I have a bit of a voice, much more so than yesterday's live stream. At least my voice it's hoarse, but it's not sore, and I can talk. This offseason for the Giants, they had some key acquisitions that have helped improve their ball club. The biggest, first and foremost, was signing former Brewer Willie Adames to a long-term deal. He is the type of star that San Francisco has been seeking since even Aaron Judge's free agency, when Arson Judge signed with the Giants. They also brought in former Astro Yankee killer Justin Verlander to bolster their starting staff, and they have former Yankee Lou Trevino in their bullpen. So they made acquisitions to improve their bats, starting rotation, and bullpen. This season, the Giants are off to a 9-3 record. They're a half game out of the NL West, just behind the San Diego Padres. In the past 10 games, the Giants have a 8-2 record, and they have won 3 out of 4 series. They did lose their last series at home to the Cincinnati Reds. Currently, they're on a 1-game winning streak. But as most of y'all, or all of y'all, should know, Yankee fan base at least, we've had a bit of a rough season. The Yankees have started out their 2025 campaign with a 7-5 record. We're currently uh, in first place in the AL East by a half a game by virtue of last night the Boston Red Sox beating the Toronto Blue Jays in extra innings. Uh, Out of our last 10 games, the Yankees are 5-5. As far as series goes, we've lost or we're split even 2-2. The two that we lost are to the Arizona Diamondbacks, fantastic NL West team that's also in competition for their title and knocking on the Dodgers' door, and the Detroit Tigers, another very good team that uh, has postseason potential. Uh, and the Yankees are currently on a one-game winning streak. Uh, Hot hitters for the Giants. Uh, Jung Ho Lee in the last game had an 8-game hitting streak busted. Uh, so their current hitting streak guy is Mike Yastrzemski, grandson of former major leaguer Carl Yastrzemski. He's on a 5-game hitting streak with 5 hits, uh, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. So he's bringing the wood to the team, and I believe that Yastrzemski leads the team in batting average also. Uh, with regard to the Yankees, our hot hitter is Ben Rice with a 6-game hitting streak. The series begins this evening. Check the time. I'm not sure yet. Game time for tonight's game is 7:05 in the Bronx. Should be available on MLB TV, Yes Network, and Guardian for those of you that are in the New York area. Uh, Game one is going to start out with a matchup between Robbie Ray and Marcus Stroman. Game two on Saturday is going to be former Cardinals reliever, now starter Jordan Hicks, locking it up with Will Warren. And Sunday's game three, will be, I believe, their ace, Logan Webb versus Carlos Rodon. So that should be an interesting game. Uh, Tonight's matchup. This season, Robbie Ray is 2-0, and he has a 3.18 ERA. Uh, he's a four-pitch pitcher. He features a four-seam fastball, ballpark about 93 miles an hour. He throws slider, changeup, and a curve. He's generally considered a high-low pitcher. Uh, his big asset is the run value on his fastball. He tends to throw it up, and it gets a lot of movement. The He's coming off of Tommy John surgery, so he is not back to full strength yet. And this may be an opportunity for the Yankees to be successful against a pitcher that's not hit his peak yet. Uh, Matching him up against this evening is going to be Marcus Stroman. Stroman has not had a great start with the Yankees this season. Uh, he is 0-0 with a 7.27 ERA. Uh, he has given up some long balls and not been performing exceptionally. Welcome, Jason. Glad to see you joining the stream. Let's see. I'll bring up Jason says, I'm not thrilled about tonight's matchup. Don't have much confidence in Stroman. Hopefully, we'll put up some runs. I see FJ joining in. Hey, how's it going, brother? Uh, well, that's why we play the game. Marcus Stroman hasn't had a great season. He is a pitcher that features 7 pitches. Is a high ground ball rate of pitching. He features an 89 mile an hour sinker, a slurve, cutter, slider, a split fingered fastball, four seam fastball, and a curveball. He has his notables are he has a high run rate on his off speed pitches. He has a high ground ball rate. The question is, can he keep the ball down in the zone? The other factor that plays into his game is over the last year and a half, he's walked more batters than he has in his entire career. Innings per walk. So with his slow delivery and his slow ball, he's very susceptible to stolen bases. So hopefully the combination of Wells, Jazz, and Volpe can keep that in check. Because from the Boston series last year, you can tell that Stroman wasn't worth a damn holding runners on. Game 2, Jordan Hicks. He has started out with a 1-0 record and has a 2.38 ERA. He is a 4-pitch pitcher. He features a 97 mile an hour sinker, a sweeper, a corresponding 97 mile an hour fastball, and a split. He has an extremely high ground ball rate. His fastball velocity is very high. The things that are not favorable in Hicks's repertoire is he doesn't have a lot of people chasing his pitches, and the other serious negative for him is when people contact him stuff, it is an extremely high average exit velocity. So he tends to give up the long ball. Playing in Yankee Stadium, that could be a very good positive for us. His matchup is going to be Will Warren. This season, Warren is 0-0 with a 6 ERA. Warren is a 5-pitch pitcher who features a sweeper as his primary pitch. He follows up with a 4-seam fastball that runs about 92 miles an hour, a sinker, a change, and a curve. One of the pluses for Warren is he gets great extension on his pitch, meaning that he steps out extremely far, so his fastball has a shorter distance to travel, so it makes his 92 mile an hour fastball look like a 94 mile an hour fastball. So he gets a little bit of visual trickery the way he throws. He has a high ground ball rate. He has a high whiff rate. The bads for him is when they hit his stuff, the hard hit rate is extremely high. The exit velocity is extremely high. So if he's out over the plate and these guys tag him, they have the potential of driving the ball out of the park. So hopefully he has control on his stuff and we see the best performance of the season from him. His spring training, he looked extremely well. His last couple of games when he was facing major leaguers were a bit rough, but they were serviceable. And that's why I believe that he's part of the rotation now. So that should be a good game and definitely a potential to sneak one past the Giants there. Our Sunday matchup is going to be a tough one. We're facing Logan Webb. This season, he is 1-0 with a 1.89 ERA. He is a five-pitch pitcher. He features a sinker as his primary, followed with a sweeper, a change, a cutter, and a four-seam fastball, running roughly ballpark 93 miles an hour. Uh, Webb has a incredibly high ground ball rate. He has a high strikeout rate. He doesn't walk people. Uh, the thing with him, uh, he throws pitches always near the middle of the plate and relies on movement. So he doesn't have a high chase rate. He's not striking people out at a ridiculous clip. The person he's going to be matching up with on Sunday is your favorite mine, Carlos Rodon. This season, Rodon is 1-2 with a 5.19 ERA. Rodon is a five-pitch pitcher who relies heavily on a four-seam fastball running between 94 and 96 miles an hour and a slider. For Carlos to have success, he actually has to incorporate his secondary pitches to get the people off of his fastball. Uh, his secondary pitches, which include a sinker, slider, and a curveball. So his pluses are uh, he has a good run rate on his breaking pitches. Uh, he has a decent ground ball rate, uh, decent strikeout rate, and he gets a lot of chases on pitches outside the strike zone. Uh, which Carlos Rodon shows up, the one that gets pissed and loses his composure and gives up a three run home run, or the guy that pitches 6-7 innings and gives up no runs and locks it down. Well, we know who we need coming up against Webb. Question is, who are we going to get? Go over some loose statistics for hitting on both teams. The Giants' team batting average this season is a 229, which is 19th in the majors. Uh, they've scored 57 runs to this point, which uh, has them set at 10th in the majors. They've hit 14 home runs, which puts them at 13th. Their on pace percentage is a 288, which is 25th, I believe. And their slug is a 404, which is 12th. So their offense is not highly ranked. They have the potential to score. There's certainly long ball hitters there. Currently, the team leader for batting average is Mike Yastrzemski. He's sitting at a 344 clip. Uh, they're I can't remember if he came from Nippon or the KBO. Jung Ho Lee, I believe he's their center fielder. He's hitting 320 or 333. And then Wilmer Flores and uh, Helmut Ramos are the other two. Flores leads the team with 5 home runs this season, and Flores also consequently has 14 RBIs. So you've got, and their distribution of RBIs, you've got Ramos with 9, Carpenter with 8, and Yastrzemski with 6. So they drive in runs a variety of ways. Not a great offense, but one capable of scoring. As I said, they're playing in the NL West and they're holding down the second spot, half game out behind the San Diego Padres. So they have played some tough series thus far. Uh, like I said earlier, they lost their last one. So there is potential for us. Uh, all right. FJ note: the Giants are 9-3 and are only percentage points ahead of the Dodgers for second place. Uh, they'd be leading the AL East. That is absolutely right. They would be leading in the AL East. They've played 7 games at home out of their 9 wins, and they've won all 7. So take that for what it is. They play well in the Bay Area. Let's see how they do on the East Coast. The key notables for the Bay Area team's ballpark is they generally have a pretty heavy wind coming in from the outfield, so it keeps balls in the park. Well, they're going to be playing in a park that's the contrapositive of that, where we generally have the ability to put the ball out of the park. So we'll see how their pitching holds up to that. Uh, as far as pitching stats, Robbie Ray leads the team with 2 wins this season. Logan Webb has a 1.89 ERA, which is leading the team. The strikeout leader also on the team is Logan Webb with 21 Ks. So an effective pitcher. Verlander has 16 strikeouts, and Hicks has 11. So starting staff has swing and miss stuff. We will see how they play in the stadium. For give me a sec. The team stats for our New York Yankees. Uh, our team batting average is a 265, which puts us third in Major League Baseball. We have scored 62 runs, which puts us at second. Uh, hit 26 home runs, which is also second. Our on base percentage is a 346, which is sixth. And our slug rate is a 509, which has us at first in baseball. Our hot hitter on a 6-game hitting streak is Ben Rice currently. And that was evident when in our win on Wednesday against the Tigers when he hit the 2-run homer to put us up. Young lad has come up. He's got a very hard hit rate, one of the fastest bat speeds in the major leagues, and I expect good things out of him. Hopefully, coming back to the stadium, we'll see even better things. As far as the team goes, our team leader in batting average is our first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, hitting a 383, followed by Aaron Judge hitting 354, Ben Rice at 306, and home runs. Aaron Judge at 6, Anthony Volpe at 4, Jazz Chisholm at 4, RBIs, Judge is at 20, Volpe is at 12, Grisham is at 9, and so is Jazz. When Jazz contacts the ball, he does good things, but his strikeout rate is a little bit ridiculous. He's at 42%. He leads the major leagues in strikeouts. We need to see some improvement in that. Austin Wells is hitting, I want to say Wells is hitting 189 this season, so it's time for him to step it up. And young hopeful Jason Dominguez is only hitting 205. So we've got young players that are on the team that being afforded the opportunity, while they have it, they should take advantage and prove that they belong on the major league roster. But as time will tell, these guys will learn, they'll grow, and we will see improvements. We're 12 games into the season. Some of the concern points from fans have been our newly acquired closer, Devin Williams. Am I hitting the panic button yet? No. Williams has only pitched in a handful of games. He is switching leagues and teams, so that takes an adjustment period. We are also in a very cold, played a lot of outdoor cold weather games. Williams historically is a slow starter between March and April. I suspect when it warms up in May, he'll be the lockdown pitcher that everybody expects. Hey, Stephen B., how's it going? Yankee fans just have to be patient and give them time, just as they do with everybody else. Nobody starts out the season at the top of their game, or very few people do. I mean, as I see posts on Twitter and X, I'm reminded of last season's Aaron Judge start. I see that Stephen B has jumped in, so welcome, Stephen. The Yankee fans in March and April were booing Judge openly and challenging his captaincy, but by the end of the season, those critics were nowhere to be found. And I think a lot of these kids are going to step up and play to the best of their ability, and they'll be all right. That is my my preview for the Yankees and the Giants. I think that we are capable of taking 2 out of 3. I don't think we'll do a sweep for this particular series. And we have a follow-up. We'll be in the stadium again for another 3-game set against the Kansas City Royals. So that should prove interesting to see how we fare there. I am going to drop the link once again, so anybody who wants to come up and say their piece, feel free to do so. There you go. How does everyone feel that the series is going to turn out? We're going to lose all 3. We can go 2-1, or are we going to sweep? Put your comments down in the post your comments down in the thread. Let's see what we're thinking. Stephen B is expecting 2 out of 3 wins. And I see CT Cards has jumped in, so we will bring him up. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing? I know it's a long time no see, but I just wanted to say hi, Ken. Love the show. I really love your show. I love that you have the open panel, so all of us can talk to you because I really respect, your opinion on how you view baseball. It's really cool. I really respect that. But I did want to say is I post this on a few different websites, and because it's been coming up as a rumor mill thing again, is Michael King. Okay, I know it's random. I know I'm being random here, and it's the end, probably towards the end of your show. I'm sorry. I didn't. I just woke up.
It's actually we're halfway through.
Okay,
Normally I
cool.
run an hour or so, so we're at 30 minutes.
Okay, I just didn't want you to. You get what I'm saying. But
I
now,
understand.
can you imagine if our rotation was Max, King, Hill, Rodon, Clark Schmidt? That is a rotation. I mean, you can spin that rotation any way you want. I'm just talking about the players in that rotation. Now, that is a rotation that I think could take us to the promised land. But there has to be a trade made because Stroh, we've already talked about it till we're dead in the face about it or beating a dead horse, but we can't let him go over, I think, 140 innings. So what are we doing for the second half? And this is the big point I wanted to make is people want like Dylan Cease. They want like, some of what can these guys deliver in New York? We know Michael King has played in New York. He can handle the stress of New York. I I don't want to bring in, look at what's happening with Rodon. And I'm not blaming everything like that, but I'm saying that like he's kind of a guy I think would be more successful with a smaller, a different team, not not playing for the Yankees. You put him in on, I don't know, another team, the Marlins, let's say. I bet he's a Cy Young winner, but he can't seem to pitch in New York. So why are we going to take a gamble on if we do make a trade on somebody like Dylan Cease? Could people keep bringing him up? But if we already have a guy we know can play in New York and grew up on New York, like, Michael King is somebody that came up through our system. That is somebody I can rely on that will, actually be able to pitch. But what we're watching from Rodon, what we've watched from, I mean, go back all the way to like Kevin Brown, Randy Johnson, Jim Abbott. I mean, those guys had good games for the Yankees, but the bright lights in New York were kind of like too much for them. So I don't want to take a gamble right now. I'd rather us go after a player that we already know can actually handle the spotlight in New York. And I think Michael King might have a game or two of like, in New York, but by game 3, that guy's going to be unbelievable. And it will save us from pitching Stroman over 140 innings. And it'll get Will Warren, no offense, but it'll get Will Warren off of our I'm sorry, that guy I have no faith in. But anyways, Ken, back to you. I'm sorry I babbled. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be. This is the whole point to having an open panel is speaking your truth.
Yeah.
With regard to uh, Mike King, he is a very good pitcher. On the free agent tab, he's listed as a tier 2 type pitcher. The tier 1s that they have that are coming available in free agency are Zach Gallen,
Yep.
Dylan Cease, and I can't remember the third one. But there were three. Oh, Framber Valdez from the Astros
Astros, yeah. Yep. Yep.
was the third one. They're all available and going to be available in free agency. Uh, and pending if any of those teams fall out of the race, could possibly be moved at the deadline. Mike King is the number 1 tier 2 pitcher that'll be available, and I believe that uh, Alcantara will be available also at the deadline. But the thing that you have to know is pitching is at a premium come the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
and you are going to end up paying a high price, as you saw uh, over the last two seasons for starting pitching. If we look at the Yankees farm system, we aren't ranked very high. There is a Yankee tax that is definitely prevalent no matter what trades we make,
I agree. I agree.
as seen last year with the Corbin Burns trade. The Yankees offered a pretty good package to pick up Burns from the Brewers, and the Brewers wanted more. The Orioles ended up signing Corbin for a bag of chips and a donut. Their trade was they didn't include any of their top 10 prospects in that trade. I mean, they essentially included no one. But obviously, they didn't want to trade to the Yankees because we didn't get them.
Yeah.
And has
Imagine
been historically shown that's true. And if we're looking at a player the caliber of Mike King, look at what the Padres did last year to bring in Tanner Scott. They traded their number one, number two, number three, number four, and their 25th ranked prospects. They
wow.
essentially freaking wrecked their farm system for a 3 month rental because they had no chance of re signing him based off of their financials. So if they're moving a pitcher like King or Cease, they're going to need to replenish that farm system. And who's at the top of our heap? Oh,
Give
that
him
would be Spencer Jones or
Spencer Jones and Will Warren and call it a day. I know I sound
George
crazy, but
George Lombard Jr. You're talking some of the people that would be classed as untouchables in our organization.
yeah,
So
yeah,
our ability to put a prospect package that would fulfill the Padres' definite needs and desires. Hey John, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Uh, we don't have the bullets in our guns.
that's true. I think the wallet needs to come out for the second half of the season because I'm sorry, I'm not panicking here. I'm just seeing that all the faults that I already knew were in this team are starting to show way too early. You know what I mean? Like all these other teams are totally taking notes and going, yeah, they've got holes in their system, with the rotation. We got holes in it's weird. The offense just is really streaky. I don't get it. But I know Bellinger had like food poisoning. That was why he was out for the last game. Whatever. My point is though, there's no like consistency with our offense, and then the defense is scaring me because when you have Max Fried, who's a ground ball pitcher, you got to have the defense there. And yes, he had a great start. I'm not like questioning that, but I just mean like his other two starts. Some of the reason why there were runs put up on the board by the other team was because our defense was sloppy. And so, but I thought we were supposed to have a better defense this year, so I'm scratching my head. Like, and on paper, we do. Like, this team, our defense looks better other than third base. Third base, I'm just questioning right now. I don't know what we do about third base this season. Is there anything we can do? So, actually, I'll leave that with you, Ken. What do you think we should do about third base? What is your opinion on that?
Well, if you're asking about bringing in an Arenado who's on a 14 game hitting streak, no.
Okay.
His contract is ridiculous. You want to talk about throwing us? If we were to pull in Arenado, is he the guy that puts us over the top? I don't see it. I don't see
No.
him as putting us over the top. His defense will be commiserate with Peraza / Cabrera, who we already have in place. He might be an uptick in offense, but is it going to be that impactful an uptick? I agree. The Yankees do need a right-handed bat because we are very, very heavily left-handed centric.
Yeah.
I
Very
see
good.
that Max from Max Coverage TV has hopped in, and welcome, brother. Uh, Appreciate you supporting the stream. Uh, Other right-handed bats that are out there. Brendan Donovan has been one that's talked about who is doing very well this season. Uh, there's
Man,
still
he's
a bit
off
of
to a good start. Yeah, he's off to a good start. Yeah.
there's been some discourse with regard to the to him losing the arbitration hearing and some of the shit that was talked about him during that. So he's not exactly happy to be
Where
in
he's
uh,
at.
in Cardinal land. However, uh, do we
Yeah.
have the bullets that we need to pull off a trade with them? We
I'd
are
rather
going to
him than
dump.
Nolan. I'd rather him than Nolan. You know,
They
I'm sorry.
are they are they are going to demand pitching
Yeah, and what do
and
we
close
have?
to major league ready pitching.
What do we
So
have?
you're talking we don't have a lot of bullets in major league ready pitching. Uh, Henry Lulane, possibly Cam Schlittler. Uh, if he could ever get off the damn injured list, Clayton Beater would be one that could possibly be moved. But that would be the deal of the century for us. Another person that I subscribe to that is a right-handed bat that is uh, multifaceted with regard to ability to play different positions. But third base happens to be one of them is Matt McLean. Matt McLean has started the season out very well also, but he is now on the IL. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he missed last season completely. So a little bit of concern for making an acquisition of McLean because of the injury history. Uh, he came out in his rookie season. He had like 560 plate appearances and hit 290 as a freaking rookie. And he came out and he was hitting 375 until his injury. So the guy can straight up hit. He can feel too. He's a plus defender. Uh, Another one from Jason 161 River Ave is McMahon from the Rockies, who is he's hitting all right. He's not hitting great. He's not hitting bad. Solid defensive third baseman. Could definitely be a third base option. Uh, if we look at bats that are available as far as free agency is concerned, the only one that's out there really is uh, former Dodger, Diamondback, Met, JD Martinez. But
I thought you were gonna say
he,
JD Davis. I was like, no way, we're bringing him back.
yeah, no, I was the anti JD Davis to begin with, and have continued to be the anti JD Davis. We might
Good.
as well bring back the four fucking horsemen if that's the case. Maybe they can play defense in left field. Uh,
Sorry that I needed to say that. Sorry.
However, Davis hasn't, or Martinez hasn't taken a swing in 6 months at any live pitching. Uh, we are, if we were to bring him on board, I mean, he's a solid right-handed hitter. His numbers last year were not great, uh, but he'd require 30 to 50 at bats in the minor leagues to get ready. 30 to 50 at bats interprets to basically a month of
Oh,
sitting in double A slash triple A, getting back up to speed. And what we get at the major league level, God only knows. The other thing that you have to look at is reports on Giancarlo Stanton indicate that he may be back earlier than anticipated, which most people didn't expect to see him until late July, August, and we may actually see him before the All Star break.
okay, can I gotta ask you, do you think that this is a good idea that we are relying that Stanton is gonna A, come back and be healthy, but B, that 4 weeks we talked about, it takes Stanton, a while to get going. But do you really think that this isn't gonna be like I see that it's almost like Cole. He should have had surgery last year. And I feel like Stanton's in that same boat. He should just have surgery. Why are you trying to like put it off and come back? And I just have a fear that we're gonna see Stanton come back and get re-injured right when we need him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if we do get the wild card, let's say worst case scenario, we get the wild card, we lose Stanton right before the wild card. Now we don't have a hitter who can hit, in the playoffs because no offense to Judge, but he hasn't showed us that yet. So now, what is it? Bellinger, Goldschmidt, we're relying on guys like that. And when you got Judge at number two or number three in the order, depending on what day it is, like with Boone, you never know. Um, it kind of throws things off, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on Stanton coming back? And do you think he should have surgery? Do you think he should be coming back? I'm interested, Ken, because I always like your point of view on things. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, if you look at the Stanton Hall altogether, we've got him for roughly 3 seasons. Uh, the Marlins are going to end up fitting 10 million of his bill for the next three,
Or yeah,
which alleviates some of the cost on us because we've retained him. Uh, at this point in his career, if he has the surgery, it may be career-ending surgery. So,
get that. Yep.
would you rather have a 65, 75% Stanton or no Stanton?
Very good point. Very good point. I like that.
So hence, I'm ready to roll the cards with him as a ball player, perhaps giving him some breaks to keep him swinging the bat and primed up for postseason.
Okay.
Uh, remember, A Rod for years and years and years was a garbage dump player when it came to the postseason. He had one fantastic postseason with the Yankees, and that's all anybody remembers is A Rod is a god in postseason. But if you look back at A Rod's numbers, his numbers in the postseason are not godlike.
No.
So could it happen to Judge? Sure, Judge could turn it around. He could bang out 6 or 7 home runs in the postseason and be a god. Judge actually showed up in the league championship games. He hit well for us,
Yep.
and in the World Series, he matched Otani.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yep.
Otani was supposed to be it was supposed to be the MVP versus MVP series with the big guns going at each other, and they both hit like shit. It's a equalizer.
Ah.
The only problem is we had him in center field, and he screwed the pooch with the one fielding play, and that's what everybody remembers is Judge dropping the easy fly ball in game, was it 5?
I think it was game 5. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was game 5. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe you mentioned that. Somebody on like the internet just posted a picture of him dropping that, and I can't remember what the caption was, but something about Yankee Nation. They're bashing us, and it was just funny because you can't. How do you defend yourself in that situation when there is a picture of him missing that, and you can't be like, oh, you can't make it of an excuse. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we messed up.
I will tell you, weird shit happens to everybody at some given juncture in their career. Even when I was at Kansas and I was throwing from the bump, I remember taking a freaking shot uh, off the tip of my glove that hit me square in the fucking chest. I thought that they had collapsed my freaking lungs. And when I got to the locker room, I toughed it out. I stayed on the bump, and when I got to the locker room and took my shirt off, I had the perfect stitch pattern of a baseball across my chest. It was like a damn tattoo. How's it going, Dave? Glad to see you jumping on board. And
Oh,
I was a pretty solid fielding pitcher, so
how did that
stuff.
like? How long did that last? That like feeling you got, that bruise.
The feeling itself was a couple of days. It was like 3 or 4 days that it was hard to breathe. It hurt. I
Oh,
went in for X-rays and thought that I had fractured ribs, and they weren't fractured. And I took the ball off of a glove that hit me and left me that hurting. And the stitch patterns. I thought about getting a tattoo with the stitch patterns on my damn chest, but that shit hurt like hell. And that for me as a pitcher, that was always the the big worry is exit velocity of balls being hit straight back through the box. And you've seen pitchers like McCarthy, who we had a few years ago, that took a 106-mile-an-hour fastball off the head, collapsed his cheekbone and his eye socket, and he never came back as the same type of pitcher.
No.
And you've had Major League Baseball has had different experimentals with hard type hats and protective wear for pitchers on their head. It doesn't feel right from some of the stuff that I've read, and it actually changes because it's heavier. Their focus, they tend to not pitch as well with it, so they're willing to take the risk of taking a shot without with a normal ball cap.
This is something I think you'll find funny, Ken. You're talking about 105 or 108 mile per hour ball. I like 2 years ago, I had my dog, my puppy dog, jump up and broke my eye. Actually, this eye socket, jumping up at me just because wasn't attacking me or anything. So that dog was putting maybe 30 miles per hour worth of force. Can you imagine a 105 mile per hour ball hitting your eye socket? I think every pitcher should wear a pair of safety glasses. Seriously, because I would fear that too. That's when I pitched in high school. That was my thing. I feared getting a ball hit, and luckily I was for some odd reason I was really good at throwing pitches that were ground balls. Like every pitch I would hit would either be out in the outfield, catch, or be on the ground, and I never actually got a pitch hit at me. I'm lucky in that aspect because I don't know what I would have done in that situation because I'm not really good with my reflexes, so I probably would have gotten whaled in my face. But yeah, I mean, there's been pitchers through the years that have gotten that one guy, I can't remember if he played. That one guy, I remember he lost his eye getting hit by a pitch. There's been a couple career-ending injuries when it comes to that. So you got to give mad props to pitchers who are able to react like they react and actually, stop the ball from coming towards them. Because when that happens, it always freaks me out. I'd say that's most freaked out I get with a baseball game is seeing a pitch go right towards the pitcher, and
Well,
you know,
former major league pitcher who was a outstanding fielding pitcher, Zach Greinke.
Mhm.
He was keen at coming off the mound and getting balls, but Greinke also started before he became a pitcher. He was a shortstop,
I didn't know that. Wow.
and they converted him in the minor leagues uh, in Kansas City to be a pitcher because of the velocity that he threw the ball from deep in the hole. And he was one of those types that would hit the glove center mass every time. His and when he came up to the majors, and we still had pitchers hitting, he was one of the best hitting pitchers in Major League Baseball, next to Mad Bum.
Oh, you're
Mad Bum
right.
was,
You're right. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I just watched something on Zach Greinke, and you're right. You're right. Yeah, he was a good batter. He was actually. Yeah.
and Mad Bum was another guy who was a shortstop that converted to becoming a pitcher, and Mad Bum was another fantastic hitter. So I think you've lost some of the aspects of ball players with the universal DH. I mean, there were some great pitchers who could hit. Otani obviously is one. I think he's a better hitter than he is a pitcher. However, as time goes on, things within the game change itself. Uh, as far as acquisitions right now to help improve the stature of the club, I don't really see that there's anybody that is impactful that is available. Uh, I think some people that are they're going to be out of the job come the middle of May. I think that Pablo Reyes won't be part of this team. Uh, he is has no options left, and he'll end up being DFA'd. I think that Carlos Carrasco's days are numbered on this squad too. He won't accept an assignment to the minor leagues, and he'll be gone. Uh, some of the notes that I saw for returning players, uh, Tyler Matzek, former Atlanta Brave, uh, postseason hero, he has actually started rehab starts down in the minor leagues, and he will be back and up with our club before the shit's all said and done with. Solid left-handed arm,
Yeah,
and
left-handed. Yeah, yeah, good arm. Yeah.
post postseason experience. He will be a great acquisition. When Johnny Lasagna comes back, he could be one of those guys in the back end of the rotation or the pen, 7, 8, 9 guy. He has closer stuff. It's a question of keeping him on the field. Cousins will be coming back. So as far as needing bullpen help, it's not there. We don't. I don't see the need. Uh, One of the things that I'm concerned about is Clark Schmidt. He pitched his second rehab start uh, yesterday.
What did he throw?
Now,
45 pitches, I think, or 40 pitches?
no, he threw 61 pitches,
Oh,
4 innings,
61. Okay, cool, cool. Okay.
and his previous start he threw 58 pitches.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, he's getting up there then. Cool.
So hence, generally you start the season as a 75, 85 pitch pitcher to start your season. Well, he's nowhere near. He's 20 pitches short of that.
Yeah.
Uh, my fear is that we bring him back too early. I think that he should have at least two more rehab starts down at AAA and not at AA because he's beating up on freaking high school kids. Uh, he's a professional major league pitcher with 3 seasons under his belt, and he's throwing against guys that aren't close to being in the major leagues, and the numbers will make him look good with all the strikeouts. However, you get closer to the competition level sitting at AAA in Scranton. Uh, I think that 1 to 2 games gets his pitch count up where we need it because even with Carlos Carrasco's shit performance in 4 and 1/3 innings the other day, he threw 80 pitches.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's 4 and 1/3 innings. If we bring back a Clark Schmidt who is not properly stretched out, what are we going to get out of him? Are we going to get somebody who's going to help alleviate the pressure in the bullpen? No, he's going to add to the pressure.
Yep.
The secondary thing is, and I know this is being a pitcher because it freaking happened to me. Uh, when you're desperate to get back, you start overthrowing. Overthrowing tends to lead to lat injuries, which is what he suffered last year and missed 3 months.
Months. Yeah.
So my concern is if we bring him up too early, uh, he injures himself in a different area worse. So we end up losing him for more of the season. And even at Clark Schmidt's high, Clark Schmidt was a 75 pitcher. He would run about 5 innings and would be way over his pitch count. And he'd be done for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That was the thing that pissed me off last year. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but last year it pissed me off is right when he got injured was like he had just done his first start getting through the third round of the order. You know what I mean? Like we actually
yep.
saw like Clark get through the third, wow, and then he got injured and I don't know, just as you said, you can expect 75, maybe 80 pitches at him, 4 2/3, maybe 5. That's the max you're going to get at him. So, just as you said, you're not alleviating much. You're still putting the bullpen, and that's where I wanted to get back to is Ken. What do you feel about Williams? What do you feel about his? I because the thing that Yankee fans need to remember is this guy is only pitched 3 innings for the Yankees, 3 innings, and he just got off paternity leave, just had a kid. But I'm interested in you, Ken. What have you seen from him? What are do you think this will all fall into place, or do you think that Williams, will have trouble finding his way? Can he pitch under the bright lights of New York, as we say?
Personally, Williams hasn't pitched worth a damn in New York. Why is that? Well, historically, if you look at Williams' numbers, March and April are the worst months for him as far as his aggregate ERA and his pitches. Why do you think that may be? Well, I will tell you. He's not fully stretched out, so his fastball is not up to his normal velocity. In cold weather, you're not getting as much movement on your changeup, which he lives and dies with. Uh, this season, the Yankees have started on the East Coast. Last year, when we had our great start, we started in the with the Astros in a dome. Then we followed up with the Diamondbacks in a very, very warm environment, but they also had a dome. They just happened to open it up while we were there because it was really good weather. So we started out in a warm environment where our bats, with the exception of Aaron Judge, really took off. The pitching was on point. All right. Well, we've started on the East Coast. As you know, on the East Coast, it's cold as hell. Batters don't hit as well. And the Yankees, when we went on our beat down of the Brewers, the weather was in the 70s. It was warm. Well, it started getting colder. We faced a meat grinder of a pitching staff, and they chewed our asses up.
For sure. For sure.
Then we followed up going to Pittsburgh, where it was colder and rainy, but we managed to get 3 in, lost the tail end. Then we went to a freaking place in Detroit, which is not a dome stadium. In game 1, you saw snow coming down while the guys were playing. So as far as getting movement or anything out of there, I don't think the temperature was above 43 degrees at any given point. Williams is not going to get a shitload of movement out of any pitch there. And when it's cold, you're not throwing as hard.
No. Oh.
So what do I think? Williams will show come the latter part of April, early part of May, when it warms up. He will show the form that he has. And the other thing that you have to remember, the first game of the series that he faced off against anybody, it was the Milwaukee Brewers, his ex-team. It's not like they were going to be surprised by anything he threw anyway, anyhow. The next team that he faced off against, who did he play? Oh, that would be the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates, yeah.
A team in his division who saw him at least 15 to 18 times a year. You think they're going to be surprised at anything he's throwing? And you think they're going to be teeing off when he doesn't have the movement and break? Well, hell yeah. And that's exactly what happened. Then you go into Detroit, where definitely have no movement. Did still manage to strike 2 people out, but he gave up 3 runs. And Mark Leiter Jr. came in and saved the day with his 1 at bat.
Well, okay, now I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on Mike Leiter Jr.? Mark Leiter Jr.
I think he's an excellent pitcher. He is a quality bullpen arm. And when he came to us last year in the trade from the Cubs, he was overused. He had pitched more innings than he'd ever had in his major league career or his minor league career. Hell, Leiter stepped off the bus from the airport and came in the game and pitched that day.
Yeah.
Boone tried to employ him the way that he was during the regular season, but frankly, he was worn out. He was spent by the time he came to the Yankees. And if you noticed, when he was held off of the postseason roster for our first 2 series, he got rust. He didn't have to throw. When he came in against the Dodgers, he ate their asses up for lunch. So if he gets used the proper way, Leiter will be just fine. If we keep on the trend where our starting pitching can't get 5 innings and we're pitching 5 innings out of the bullpen, well, it's not going to work out so great. The fortunate thing that we have is we have plenty of quality arms that can rotate in and out of the bullpen.
Yeah, no, okay, so you just mentioned it. I'm really glad you brought that up, is length. We got, 7 innings pitched out of Max. Who else in our current rotation? Who is going to give us more than like 4 2/3 or 5 innings right now? But,
Rodon's given us 6 innings a pop.
but giving up how many runs?
Well, that's the question.
That guy, man, like
If
he
Rodon,
reminds
if
me of Kevin.
Rodon, if Rodon keeps his temper in check, doesn't let shit get into his head, he will be fine.
Yeah, I
Game
agree.
one that he pitched, game one that he pitched for us, he was fine. Uh, game was he the pitcher against Zach Gallen?
I think he was. I think he was. I
Well,
could be
all
wrong, but
right.
he was.
He gave up some runs, but the offense was against a meat grinder, no run support.
Yeah, yeah, we got nothing out
Gallons.
of
We struck out 16 times against the Diamondbacks that game.
that.
Then you look at his performance in Detroit. Oh, he was against Gallen because he had no pitches in the first inning and 2/3. He could not find the strike zone. His fastball velocity was down to 91 miles an hour. It was an
Right.
extremely cold night again, and he gave up the 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second. Then they didn't get a hit. The next 12 batters, he retired, and he was out of the game. So he locked it down and did a decent job. Uh, 4 runs is something that the Yankees should be able to overcome, but we didn't score. We got freaking donuted.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we didn't. We got a home run off of AJ Puck in the ninth.
The ninth. Yeah, the ninth. I remember that. Yeah, the ninth inning. Yeah. Yeah. But
So
what Rodon
so
reminds me of is Kevin Brown 2.0. Remember when Kevin Brown walked into the dugout and punched the wall and broke his hand? I'm waiting
yep.
for Rodon to do the same thing. Get pissed off. What's he getting? $165 million, what, 6 year contract or whatever it
100,
is.
178 billion.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just waiting for him to get pissed off. And what was weird is like when you see him try to compose himself in games, he's successful, but he lets one little thing hit him, and it's like a ripple effect, of
Well,
sorts.
the Detroit game, he was pitching fine. He was pitching well.
Yeah. Yep.
And the third inning,
Third
he
inning.
threw a pitch that was a perfectly legit strike. If ABS was there, that jackass is sitting down. He gets pissed, starts talking to himself. Wells sees that he's pissed. Wells takes a catcher's timeout to go to try to calm him down.
And he walks up. Yeah. Yep.
So he gets a couple of minutes to calm down, but he's still pissed. And what does he do? He gophers a ball in the middle of the plate, blam, 3-run home run, and that's all she wrote. And he was locked up against who? Who was the pitcher he faced that day?
Oh, who was the pitcher?
That would be Tariq Skubal, the ace of
Jubal.
the
Yeah,
staff.
that's true. Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
Rodon has taken a couple of losses, but he's faced up against two aces that pitched extremely well against the Yankees, and has had no run support in 2 out of the 3 games that he was in.
That's
So was
totally
he?
true.
So
Yeah.
was he truly in a position to win the game? But in the first game, he pitched 5 1/3 innings, opener for the season, which is extremely good
Yeah.
because most guys pitching their first game out in the hop are 4 1/3, 4 2/3.
Yeah.
So he exceeded expectations there. Against the Diamondbacks, he was into the 6th inning. Grant gave up 4 runs. Against the Tigers, he pitched through the 6th inning. So he's got length to him. It's a question of his Achilles heel is the damn long ball. So if he can avoid giving up the long shots, he'll be fine, and we'll get length out of him.
Definitely, the home runs get him. It's weird, man. He gives up one home run, and it's like a domino effect. Man. I said almost like a ripple effect with him, but you know, I don't know, man. That's getting back to what I said earlier. That's why if we're gonna pick up anybody in a trade deal, I'd rather get back somebody we know can pitch in New York. You know what I'm saying? Because Rodon's a perfect example of somebody that is reminding me of Randy Johnson almost in New York, where he'll have some great starts, and then he'll have these games where he implodes. And Randy Johnson kind of had that at times. He'd pitch like 4 good innings, then like the 5th inning, Randy Johnson would just fall apart and get frustrated and mad. And the madder you get, the worse you end up doing. It feels like you got to use
The,
that anger in a different way.
the things that you got to remember about Randy Johnson throughout his career has been a freaking prima donna. And when he in his time in New York, it started out with him shoving a reporter who stuck a camera in his face, which he didn't care for. So the media was on him from the word Jump Street in New York.
I remember that. Yeah, I got out of that limo or taxi or whatever. Got out of the car. And yeah, the guy was trying to ask him questions, and he put his hand right on the camera and shoved it. I remember that.
The
Yeah.
the second thing that you have to remember about Johnson is Johnson atypically called his own games. Well, who was his catcher at the time?
Yeah. So you got So that's a weird
So
vibe
you
you got
have
on.
so you have Jorge Posada telling him,
Got
"No, fuckhead, you are going to throw this pitch, and this is what I'm calling." That so
it.
many meetings on the mound between him and Posada because they did not get along whatsoever.
See, that's something that
So
can you pick up on. That's why I always ask you these questions, because you picked up on that. I didn't really realize that they weren't connecting at that time. And you
no,
said,
no. As a matter of fact, uh, Posada was sent out there to be the bulldog to rein Johnson in, and Johnson just didn't want to have any part of it.
hmm, that is
And
weird.
eventually, we ended up moving on from him. It wasn't because he was a bad pitcher, because I believe he threw a perfect game against the Braves the following season.
Yeah, because I think his first season in New York, he was like 16-8. I want to say it was Randy Johnson's numbers. It wasn't bad, but it was just weird when things fell apart. Though it was that domino effect, like Rodon seemed to have, or Kevin Brown, or what's the other pitcher we got from the Cardinals that year? Oh man, I'm getting a brain fart. But there's another guy we had that the same thing would happen to, kind of like Sonny Grayish, where like Sonny Gray, that first season we had him was unbelievable, but that second season we had him, man, he would give up one long ball, and it was just boom. Like it was all over from that point, and you knew it too. It was very frustrating to watch because you knew the minute that Homer got hit that he was not recovering from this. And it would be 2.5 innings into the game, and you're like, oh no. I wish I remembered the guy's name. Came from the Cardinals to the Yankees. Carl Pavano. That's who I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm getting brain farts. I just couldn't remember his name. But yeah, Carl Vano, the Yankees. I mean, he looked like such a good pickup. But once again, getting back to what I said, can the guy pitch in New York? And that's another case if somebody just couldn't pitch under the bright lights of New York. And that's my
Well,
fear. You know,
Pavana was a New Yorker, also, by the way.
he was. I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. That's why he always wanted to come and play for the Yankees because he was a Yankee.
Gotcha.
Man, coming up as a kid he was from I can't remember he's from the city though. He's from the city, and Pavano. I mean, he had flashes of brilliance, but for the most part, his time as a Yankee, he stayed injured. He was on the injured list or DL at that time.
Yep.
A lot of his career as a Yankee. Uh, but we have hit almost an hour and 15 minutes on this
Sorry.
stream.
Sorry, I'm babbling.
That's not you babbling. It's part of what it is. Is it's saying your piece, getting to voice your opinions, ask questions and whatnot, and it's part of what we do on this channel, on this
Cool.
stream.
Well,
So,
Ken, I'll let you go. I don't mean to hold you, but no, thank you very much for having me on, and great to talk to you because I said I always appreciate and respect what you have to say about the game. I think I love your channel. I keep it going, man. Keep trucking, and I'll join as much as I can. I love watching. I love being able to converse with you, and say anybody else who's on because I think that's something that's missing from the only issue I have with some of the other Yankee channels is there's not enough of like what you and I are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're running a show and you're having me on and I'm able to ask you I think that's really cool that we do that, or you do that. I don't mean we, you do that. So I just want to say what you got going on, fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear. It's awesome. And keep on trucking, man. And thank you for having me on, and thank you for answering my questions, having the patience to, deal with my babbleness. But thank you very
Not,
much.
it's not a problem, and that's one of the things that one of the reasons why I started the stream. I had inspiration from other people who are content creators that I appeared on their shows like NFA in the Strike Zone, Max Coverage TV, uh, Jason at 161 River Ave. Uh, so a lot of support from those guys, and there were things that they stopped doing a lot of the open panels for people to come up,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was something that and when I started a channel that I wanted to do. Uh, I think it's one of the better ways to keep the conversation going. Uh, I am an anti talking points guy. I do not subscribe to the random wild bullshit that comes out from some of the folks on X, some of the other channels on YouTube that are very biased. Uh, I am a Yankee fan first and foremost, but I am a baseball fan all around. I've been part of the game for as a player for 18 years or so. As a coach, I coached for 25 years
No.
from down in Pee Wee ball all the way up to high school baseball. Uh, had some kids that ended up getting scholarships and going on to play D1 and D2 ball. Uh, None of the kids that I coached made it to the majors, but uh, I inspired them. Some of them have coached. I've come across uh, in my coaching realm players that I was competitive against in college that are in my area that wondered what the hell happened to me because they figured that I was a surefire to get drafted and possibly have a major league career. But injuries prevented that, and things happen for a reason. Uh, after I got hurt the last time, and uh, my pops took me up to Kansas City to talk to the ortho specialist for the Royals. Uh, they pretty much told me my professional career was over with. So I had to have a new dream, and I ended up eventually going in the Navy and had a wonderful career and have not had any regrets. But I've always loved the game, and I uh, like talking about it. I like follow. I followed it. I mean, when MLB TV came out with the first streaming service, I signed up, and that's been quite a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And for me, I average watching. Hey, Pito, welcome. I average watching about 150 games a season for the Yankees, but my my youngest middle son is a huge Diamondbacks fan, and I watch a lot of Diamondback games with him. I probably average 100 games a season with him, so I'm 250 in the count, and it gives me a wide variety of exposure to other teams in the league. So when I'm looking at things and uh, doing analysis for possible trades and whatnot, it's a lot of them. I've seen the players and I see what they have. I see what their strengths are. Uh, uh, at one point, I tried to become a scout in Major League Baseball and was to the final interviews for the Southeast region for the Twins, and just wasn't good enough. But that is that. So I keep involved with the sport any way I can. And now that I'm older, I don't want to do all that crazy ass traveling anyhow. If I travel, I want to travel to a real baseball game, maybe go to Baltimore and catch the boys there, or uh, head up to New York, catch them in the stadium. I've traveled down to Florida also and caught the Yankees down there. So one of my goals in life is to catch a major league game at every stadium uh, in baseball. So
That
I've got a
that's
lot of them knocked out, and eventually I'll get the rest of them.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I said, Ken, you got a really good you know you know about the game deeper than most people seem to know. And I was gonna say is what was bothering me is you brought it up is I watch tons of just baseball, and I've had Yankee fans on other sites. I'll bring up like something that happened in, like, like I was watching Michael King with the Padres open up, and they're like, oh, you're not really a Yankee fan if you're watching other teams. I'm scratching my head, like, I just like the game, just like you said. I like baseball. I watch baseball. I like the Yankees. That's my favorite team, but I also watch a lot of just baseball. I have the MLB package, so I'm able to watch, you know, I don't want to watch infomercials on cable television. There's baseball to be watched, so I end up watching all these other teams. But I was curious, what do you say to somebody who says that you're not really a Yankee fan if you watch other teams? I gotta ask you, Ken, because I'm sure you got a really good.
No, no, nobody can tell you how to be a fan one way or another. Uh, Sometimes you watch, like for me, for instance, after the Dodgers kicked our ass in the World Series last year, I called the play-by-play for the Dodgers' first game in Japan against the Cubs. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was in Pennsylvania, and
I
we
was
called
listening
the
to
game
that. I was listening to that. Yeah, yeah, I remember you doing that. Yep, yep.
because I like to see what the other teams have done, other acquisitions, how they're playing. Uh,
Exactly,
it
exactly.
puts you, it makes you more well versed because I watched, like for instance, Max Coverage TV last night. He called the game between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, two AL East rivals for us, and he does a great day, great job of calling play-by-plays. Uh, Here's one for you. Pulling up a comment from Jason. People
Oh, there
get
we
mad
go.
at me
Yeah.
because I watch Met games. I really watch any game, especially if I like certain players or matchups.
Awesome, Jason. That is awesome. That's exactly what I'm feeling, man. I don't understand it. Watching, I like baseball. I like the game. Doesn't mean I have to just fixate on one team or the other. But I said I do like the Yankees. That's my favorite team. But
Well,
I don't think being a fan of a team should stop you from watching, other teams and other, the National League or this or that. I don't know. It's
well,
weird.
around I'm in the Virginia Beach area, Hampton Roads, the same area that the Ace is from, and Mazza from
Okay.
Four Train Express. We all live within 15 minutes of each other,
Oh,
and
really?
one of the teams that we have in our area is the Tidewater Tides. They're the AAA affiliate for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yep.
So last year, early in the season, when Jackson Holiday was the big guy on campus, he was down here hitting 650 and change. I mean, everything he hit was either a double, triple, or a home run. And people were like, "Oh, this guy's for real. This guy's for real." And I will tell you, that kid is for real. He went up to the major leagues and got his ass spanked. Got sent back down after 30 days,
Yep.
and eventually got pulled up. But he didn't play extremely well. But I enjoy watching future baseball players,
The
guys
development of the players. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
that are going to be major league stars. Uh, when I was a kid, my dad was the CEO of Gunner Air Force Station down in Montgomery, Alabama. They had a double A team down there called the Montgomery Rebels. They were the Farm Club 40 for the Detroit Tigers. As a kid, I got the autographs of Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell as double A baseball players. They ended up becoming the greatest double play combination team in baseball history. I saw them as double A ball players. There was another guy that I saw down there in Montgomery that he didn't have a long career, but he was damn sure interesting. Was a guy by the name of Mark the Bird Fitterich.
Oh, the bird. Yeah, the bird.
The
Yeah, he had
bird.
that one
Yeah.
great season and then broke his knee or something, jumping over a fence or something. I can't
Yep.
remember.
But he was one of the weirdest ball players ever to grace the playing fields of a major league team. He would walk around and talk to the ball. He'd do shit around the mound. I mean, I saw another. He ended up being a great reliever, a guy by the name of Al Hrabosky. They used to call him the Mad Hungarian. He would run around and throw the ball into his glove and get pissed, and then get up on the mound and start chunking fastballs.
That's what Rodon needs to start doing. Rodon needs to like get pissed, but actually use his anger in the right way rather than just getting thrown off. I like when you watch those players get pissed off and then they'd go 3 innings, not giving up a hit, maybe one walk. You know what I mean? They got pissed, like Roger Clemens. He would get pissed off, in the second, third inning, but he got his shit together. Sorry, if I'm swearing, but he'd get it together. That's my only fear with Rodon is sometimes he just doesn't get it. I'm not trying to backtrack. I'm just getting back to what we
But
touched on earlier.
I'm going to tell you, Rodon. Everyone's like, oh, blah blah blah. Rodon stinks. He's horrible. Well, Rodon won 16 games last year.
Mhm.
He had the third highest win count in Major League Baseball, so he didn't stink that bad. He had a few bad outings. This year, he may be having his few bad outings up front.
Hopefully,
I
hopefully, yeah.
believe I believe that he'll be a 15 to 17 game winner this season when it's all said and done.
That would be nice. That would be nice. That'd be nice. Go
Rodon
on.
one day is going to be the player is going to be the pitcher that the Yankees signed. He has the stuff. It's good that he has former Yankee greats to advise him, like Andy Pettit and CC Sabathia, like they did during spring training this year. Uh, no better pitcher to uh, help him than Garrett Cole.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, somebody in the comments mentioned Stroman. What are your thoughts on Stroman? I just curious.
Stroman has had a lot of adversity. People are yakking about his fucking contract and the 140 innings.
Yeah, yeah.
Has he clapped back and had a temper tantrum or done anything screwed up as far as being a Yankee? Well, the answer is no. He's a professional. He's gone on the mound and done what he's supposed to do. He pitches to the best of his ability. He doesn't step up and say, this is a great day to be a screw up. I'm going to go out there and take the game today. No, he gets out there and he tries. He does what he needs to do. If he's successful, depends on his stuff. He's getting to be an older player, but so long as he's part of the Yankee organization, keep in mind he took a pay cut to come to New York.
That's true.
You only take a pay cut if it's something that you want to do. And even when they were bagging, oh, fucking Stroman's going to get traded. We can't trade him. Uh, we can't pick up any other players until we trade Stroman. Well, just think if we would have traded Stroman, what situation would we be in now?
Exactly. That's what I've said
You
to a
would
few
have.
people. I said the same thing to a few people where it's like, you guys have to realize that, we were talking shit about Stroman and Stroman this and Stroman that, but imagine after the Cole injury, imagine after Clark, imagine after Hill, what would we have right now if we had say gotten rid of Stroman? We would have had, this whole rotation would have been really screwed. So you have to take.
What you would have had two minor leaguers pitching at the major league level for the first time,
Yeah. Yep.
and
Yep.
how those guys would have fared because they hadn't been under fire at the major league level. Will Warren would have been one of them.
Yeah. Yep.
The other one would have probably been Cam Schlittler. How would they have fared? Don't
No.
know. Probably not very well. I remember
No.
when we brought two rookies up, Ian Kennedy being one of them.
Oh yeah. 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 I
He
remember
did
that.
he did he did not well as a Yankee, but he eventually went on to the Arizona Diamondbacks and became a Cy
Diamondback.
Young winner.
Isn't that crazy how that happens?
So the pressure in New York is a real thing. Stroman knows how to deal with it. Stroman knows how to uh, create some of the chaos. But if you go to the locker room, you won't find a player in that locker room that says anything bad about Marcus Stroman, other than he comes to the park and he does his job and doesn't disrupt us.
He's an intense player on the mound. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that. He's intense
I
on the
mean,
mound.
last year he got checked by Judge because he clapped Gleyber Torres for screwing up a ball.
I have no problem with that. I'm sorry. Okay, not to change the topic totally. What are your thoughts on us not having Torres this year?
In some
So I,
ways, it hurts. In some ways, it helps.
yeah, yep.
Uh, if we had Torres still, Jazz would be a third baseman. You'd have solid third baseman. Third base wouldn't be a freaking discussion point.
Exactly.
Glaber, Glaber is also a right-handed bat, an effective right-handed bat. When Glaber is doing it right, none better. Plus, Glaber was our freaking leadoff hitter where he excelled.
Yeah,
There
all of a
wouldn't be
sudden,
a there wouldn't be a question of who's the uh, who's the leadoff hitter. Why isn't Wells up there? Well, because we had Glaber. Would we have sacrificed some defense with Glaber? Hell yeah. Glaber is one of those types of ball players that will make 100 out of 100 spectacular plays, but can't feel the ball regular and feed for a double play or throw the goddamn thing to first base.
oh, exactly.
But
No,
if it's
like
something spectacular, it's like the Javi Baez model. Baez made some of the most incredible plays I've ever seen come short, but then he gets a regular pick and then throws to first base, and the shit is three rows into the stands.
no, something that was funny though is the other day I think it was Goldschmidt put an effort into running the first base that cracked me up because it looked like he put more effort than I saw Verdugo or Torres ever put into running the first base. I had to make a joke about it, but it was funny because Goldschmidt was like running for his freaking life to first. And it was like, that's the effort that I didn't like that at moments with Torres and Verdugo that kind of drove me nuts was one of those there are a few times where you probably would have been safe at first base. You know what I mean? That could have turned into a hit, and you guys are just kind of like, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, and that
Well, that's
mentality.
that's the Robinson Cano factor. I used to go more ape shit about him not running balls out to first. Especially, I remember there was a pop up that the second baseman and the right fielder were converging on. It went off the second baseman's gloves, but Cano had walked to the dugout and they threw him out from freaking mid right field. To answer Jason's question, did Ascar catch Rodon last start? I can't remember. I think Wells needs to catch every day.
I think actually,
Ascar did.
right, Ascara
Ascar
did.
did not catch. He did not catch Wells.
Oh, he didn't.
Uh,
Okay, sure.
no, because in the third inning, when the strike call got missed and he didn't strike the batter out that he thought
Oh,
he did,
Wells came out. Yeah,
Wells Wells went out to the mound to get Rodon to try to calm down a bit.
yeah, you're
So
right.
Wells
Sorry
actually
about
caught
that.
his last start.
Well, I'll let you go, Ken. Thank you for having me
Yes,
on.
sir.
I gotta let you go. My dog needs to go out. I gotta do
Yeah, I
something
can tell.
useful. But thank you very much, Ken, and take care, everybody. And I'll hit you up later, Ken. Thank you. Love your show. Love your show.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for supporting.
Yeah, always, always, always.
And we will catch you later. All right. We are the longest show that I've ever done that's not a play by play. We're at an hour and about 35 minutes or so. So I'm going to lock it down for now. I want to appreciate, I see that Sunil hopped in here. Want to thank everybody for joining this stream. Like I said, the Yankees play tonight at 7:05. Should be able to catch the game on Yes uh, or the Gotham Sports app, MLB TV. Uh, and if you can't catch the game, There's some great content creators that'll be doing play-by-plays like Max from Max Coverage TV, NFE from the Strike Zone, the Ace from the Ace Avenue. So hop into their streams and listen, and you'll hear a good game being called. Uh, for those that haven't, please hit the like button before you leave. Uh, Anybody who may be listening in the background that hasn't subscribed, subscribe, please. Uh, Anybody who finds value in this content, thinks that other people may be, share the channel out. I appreciate the support that y'all have given. Uh, and I will end with, let's go Yankees. Have a great afternoon, guys.